Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the First Class Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and with me today, my very special guest is P. Dot. How you doing, P. Dot?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for taking all the trip all the way over here, man. I really appreciate it, man.
No problem. I owed you the trip.
I appreciate it nonetheless, man. All right, so anyway, let me start the interview with the question that I ask everybody in the beginning. Tell me the beginning of your Jersey story.
Well, I guess that would be birth. I was born here.
Yeah, born and raised, how
Born
your
and
upbringing
raised
was
in-
like, and so on and so forth.
Born and raised in Jersey City. I grew up born in the 80s, grew up in the early 90s. So I was like, outside was outside. We had to be outside, make friends, learn people from different neighborhoods. So it was cool, regular fights, pretty much that was a lot. I didn't get into the craziness too much.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
I mean, to me, that goes to saying that, you were raised with like pretty much humble beginnings, and like you always had the love and support from your family. Make sure that you didn't get into too much trouble.
Very much grounded. Small family. Moms and grandmas raised me.
Mm-hmm.
Church was heavy.
Okay.
Church was very, very heavy. So yes, it definitely gives you a humble beginning.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not exactly a religious person myself, but
Right.
I like to think of in spirituality that I like to believe that there's somebody up there looking down above us and taking care of us and so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
absolutely. I would, even growing up in church, I wouldn't say I'm super religious or nothing like that. I understand a religion because I
Right.
grew up so heavy in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say I'm more, more spiritual, where I'm in, just in tune, just like what you said, with that higher power, and more so than the actual book itself.
Right,
maybe
exactly.
Maybe one day I get there. Maybe one day my faith will take me there. But I do have faith. I do believe. You know what I'm saying? I pray.
That's good. That's the most important thing right there, as far as I'm
Absolutely.
concerned. Yeah, and to my understanding, you also you got some Spanish background in you as well.
Yeah, half Spanish. You know what I mean? Shout out to my pops. You know what I mean? So my pops is Spanish. My mom's is black.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Was there anyone that you gravitated towards more? Or it was pretty much just even keel.
Oh nah, I was pretty much raised by moms.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Me and dad relationship kind of tightened up in my older years.
Okay.
So, naturally,
Yeah. No. Of course.
mothers and their sons, you know what I'm saying?
So are you just like me, where we got some Spanish blood in us, but our Spanish is not really 100%?
Yeah, nah, I'm not 100% Spanish, and I
Yeah.
for damn sure can't speak it. So
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's more like I could speak it to a certain degree, and I could speak to somebody that speaks it fluently, and I understand for the most part what they're saying. I'll just have a hard time responding back, and
Yeah,
it's really difficult for me to learn sometimes because we have so much different dialects. Like the same thing, like some of the accents and everything else that a Puerto Rican may say may not be in line with everything a Dominican might say. So it's when
Right.
when you're in one big melting pot like Jersey, and like you have like all different kind of arrays of nationalities and so on and so forth. It's kind of hard to gravitate towards one. Like I'll give you an example, and I've actually mentioned this up on my show before. I used to work in a restaurant, and there was a lot of Peruvians in the background, in the kitchen. They were working in the kitchen, and not a lot of them spoke pretty good English, but I was able to like bounce off a little bit what they were saying to me,
Gotcha.
so that my Spanish got good, and my mom was actually proud of me that I was learning Spanish, but she was wondering why I was speaking like a Peruvian, and she's Colombian, so.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, but anyway, keep going with the family though. So, as far as like being, in a religious upbringing and so on and so forth, I would assume that that's actually where your musical roots originated from.
Oh yeah. You had music in church.
Yeah.
We had music in church, but music was also in my house. Music was my granddad, rest in peace. He was a Temptations, 70s, 60s kind of guy. He had the Temptations,
Nice.
High Tops, and all of that good stuff. So I definitely heard music, and then anybody that does the music knows the correlation between R&B and gospel.
Yeah, of course.
So jazz and all of that type of shit. So yeah, that definitely was kind of like my introduction to music. To the having to sing in the choir and all that shit. Growing up. So it was like kind of like the spotlight. Rhythms, notes, keys, like. That's why I love R&B the way I do, because I can hear the gospel in it.
Yeah.
Especially when when they really breaking that shit down, doing it right.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, no, and usually when it comes to R&B, it's basically across the boards. I mean, you have it mixed in with a whole bunch of different genres. Like obviously R&B is mixed in with hip hop to a certain degree, but it's also in a little bit of like jazz and sometimes in a little bit of rock as well, especially the old school stuff. So it's just I just feel like when artists in particular are really inclined with the music that they listen to from back in the day, that's what's actually going to keep them grounded and actually have a passion for the music, because I feel like that's when it was in its purest, as opposed to what we're getting now, where it seems like it's all about just the business, in my own personal opinion.
yeah, I mean, you'll always get it like that, as generations go, where what you raised on, you kind of appreciate more than the direction is going. Depending on who you are, and actually how you just like the change in the music,
Hmm.
because music is gonna change every few years. So I think it's in that regard. Damn, I lost where I was at. I was smoking before I got here. But no, I think it's in that regard. It's just more so depending on you. Like
Hmm.
if you can adjust to it, I don't think you'll really complain so much. You'll cherish it, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You'll be like, I ain't got worried about that. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that's usually how I go. But I uh I have an appreciation for everything. Older music, newer music. I appreciate the newer music that has a older feel to it, a
Hmm.
classic feel to it. Uh, I'm not looking for nothing from the '60s or the '70s to hear today, but when I do hear certain styles, it's refreshing sometimes.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I think yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if you ain't really, if it's not affecting you
Hmm.
with to where in a negative way, you ain't gonna have no complaints about it. So
Right. And how did it affect you enough to the point where you figured that this is what you wanted to do with your life as far as music is concerned? Like let me get a little further though. Like, what would you say is an artist or a song or maybe an album that really gravitated you to the point where, like, all right, maybe I feel I can do this as well.
it was all about the Benjamins,
Oh, Bad Boy.
Bad Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, I always like Diddy Bop.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So always like that style, that kind of that flamboyant fly shit. Like he was just all about looking good,
Hmm.
fucking with the women and shit like that. And that was like my style. So that was always it. But when I heard the music, I was minding my business, and all about the Benjamins just came on out of nowhere. Like I've been listening to music all day,
Hmm.
but that came on, and I was
Right.
just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that was also a great
You know
time,
what I'm saying?
specifically in hip hop in '97. I mean, that was also unfortunately the year that we lost Big and everything.
Yeah.
But from a musical standpoint only, instead of all the outside noise from it, we had that was a hell of a year for music right there. I mean,
The
you had
'90s period, man. The '90s
yeah,
was a lot of music, man. A lot of good music, and even the way music was received made you feel it different. You
oh yeah,
understand? The rollouts. Actually, I was just talking to my cousin. Shout out Keys. We were just talking about the rollouts, the albums. To where remember when you heard a single
hmm,
and you had to listen to that one song for fucking 4 or 5 months before the album came out?
oh absolutely, yeah.
Like, what? We
It's a
dropping that.
different,
We
it's a
dropping a
different.
surprise album
Hmm.
2-3 times a year now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, like,
it's just different.
it's much different, but like for me, it kind of lacks the anticipation a little bit.
But that lacks the appreciation.
The anticipation and the appreciation.
There is no appreciation to it. That's why you gotta appreciate artists like Kendrick Lamar, who gonna make you wait 6 fucking years for an album.
That is true, man, because
You know
he
what I'm
just came
saying?
out with the album this year. The last one was, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. The
I'm
album
not. I'm
Damn.
not exactly sure, but I can almost promise you're not gonna hear from Kendrick again for about another 4 years.
Probably not. But you know what? That's like, he's actually made enough classic songs from previous albums that is going to hold us over until the next project. And we know he's going to kill it
Yeah, I
with the next
mean,
project either, as well.
his the catalog is impeccable. So
Hmm.
he can really say I quit and then just judge me off what I did.
That's pretty much it,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And then it's like, damn, well, Barry Sanders,
Yeah, there you go.
you quit too early, but we could talk about the what ifs, but as far as the body of work, one of the goats.
Right. Now, you just mentioned that Diddy was like, the fly guy and everything, that he basically wanted to help you, uh, basically push you in the direction that you wanted to do this music thing. Like, he really inspired you and just that whole swag that he was doing. But being an artist is a lot more emotional and more in depth than just, trying to be all flashy and everything and just seeing what you see from the outer exterior. And everybody knows that first and foremost, that music really comes from what's in the heart, what's in the mind, a lot of emotions, a lot of pain and anger and so on and so forth. So, me personally, I mentioned to you before that I'm a big proponent of mental health. And I feel like at the time when I was doing music, especially, that was my outlet. Now this has become my outlet, but the point that I'm trying to make is, it's always about finding your peace and making sure that you find what you're passionate about, and that's one of the steps that can help you to, get your mental issues in check if you have them, or if you're going through everyday life and struggles and so on and so forth. So when it comes to you personally, like what are the leaps and bounds that you've had to go through as far as like making your music, and in order to, how is it prominent for your own mental health as well?
Yeah, it's always an expression, a good way to release things, release energy, release thoughts. I always say when I'm doing my music, I'm always right. My side of the story is what you're hearing, so I could paint this picture how I wanted to, no matter how wrong I was, or no matter how right I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a form of therapy for me. Uh, I think if anybody's really heard my music in my earlier years, I was very, very much. Even now, I was more so then than now, but I was very much into pain music where it was just very much everyday life related,
Hmm.
and that was just the majority of it. And I guess it kind of sharpened my skills and started making me think and learn how to be dope in different ways because I couldn't just be typical. You know what I mean? Well, I wasn't being typical. I lived a certain lifestyle, and I had to be true to I had to be true to who I was.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like anytime you hear anything on a record from me, whether it do be something a little bit aggressive or it is very vulnerable, it's me. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be me when you walk up to me. So that was very, very important to me. But yeah, as far as like, the emotional and the mental part of it, very, very prominent in in the in the good and how can I say it? Very, very how the fuck could you say it? It was just it helped me progress mentally. There
Okay.
you go. It helped me progress mentally. It helped me escape from dark places. You could write your way out of some depression. You
Hmm.
could write your way out of some heartbreak. You could write your way out of some anger. You know what I'm saying? Just feel better.
And doesn't it? And isn't it crazy how sometimes when you do that, it ultimately comes out as some of your best work that you've ever done, and it just
Yeah.
makes you even more proud of it.
Yeah.
And it makes you even more proud of the fact that when you're doing music or a song or anything of any kind of arts in that particular aspect, then you're able to gravitate towards other people and they feel it, and they're in tune with it, and they thank you for like helping them get through whatever they're going through. That's got to be
Yeah.
a hell of a feeling, especially from somebody as you, when you're doing something that you're very passionate about, you put your heart and soul into it, and then afterwards when somebody gravitates towards that, that's got to be one of the greatest feelings in the world, as opposed to just besides just
Yeah.
money in your pocket.
Validation. We all look for validation. Whether it's you doing a podcast, you
Hmm.
looking for somebody to tell you it's good. We all
Right.
kind of looking for validation, even though we know what we're doing. We know what we lack for the most part. I think most people can look in the mirror and see what things are, but I don't know. I don't know how accountable you'll be, but most people could look in the mirror and know. But we still do look for validation. So once you get it, it definitely makes you feel better and helps you keep going. Especially them days when you don't have it in you, because doing this here, chasing this dream, making this music, it take a certain level of confidence. And my cousin was just saying, take a certain level of confidence to do this. Get up every day and defy odds. You know what I mean? To go to put out podcasts, to put out albums, and not know who's listening or who's watching or when,
Hmm.
but to keep going like everybody's listening with a smile on your face, spending the money out your pocket
Hmm.
that you're working a 9 to 5 to do. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
I mean, I'm going through it myself, so.
yeah, I know you. I know you gonna do it. So I know you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So it take a lot to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, kudos to you for being able to to fight through that. Like, I'll tell anybody that if you're still going and you still doing this shit with any part of your dream, whatever your dream is,
Mm-hmm.
outside of making somebody else dream millions,
Right.
I congratulate you. I salute you.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say the same thing for you, man. Because one of the things that I noticed that you really out here. You putting your work in. Like you were just telling me a little while ago about like how you went about your day and all the things you had to go through and so on and so forth. Just real world problems that we go through.
Yeah,
But we
day.
still going through it. We persevere, and just the fact that you even made the effort to come out over here, even as minuscule as you may think it may seem, it actually means the world, and it's actually the highlight of my day. And this is why we do this at the end of the day.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Now, so going back to the music a little bit though, for anybody who doesn't exactly know who P Dot is or what he's all about, instead of just asking about like what's your favorite project or what like this or that, what would you say is a song of yours that you really enjoy that you think is actually a great introduction to let the world know who P Dot really is?
Great introduction. First song off my third album, which would be my first official, kind of release of when I started getting busy out here, getting known after Bars from the Car.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely be like it's Sunday. If somebody was gonna meet me, and who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Press play and start off the right way.
From your third album.
From my third album, from Made for This, on all streaming platforms. But yeah, like it's Sunday. If you were gonna say who is this guy,
Mm-hmm.
like it's Sunday, top to bottom. I don't think. Damn, that's a good guy. That's a good ass fucking question, and I think I got a good fucking answer.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think
man.
that's it.
Yeah,
I think that might be it, man. That's a good question,
yeah, we're
man.
gonna roll
Now you
it.
gonna have me thinking about that on the ride home, man.
Hey, I
like that.
You know what? I'm gonna be bumping on the way home as well.
Word.
I'm gonna
Give it a spin, baby.
Absolutely.
I need all my streams, all the little pennies.
Well, I've been doing that for quite a while, man, and also doing in my research. Like I already follow you on social media, and speaking of social media, it seems like in this day and age, especially, like it's like I'll tell you. I actually mentioned this before again on an episode of mine before, and I'll tell you, back when I was trying to get into the music game, I feel like I was really on that cusp where like before it was more like you had to make a demo and then have to send to the record companies, and also you had to have like the street cred and do the shows and so on and so forth to get your name out there. And then on the other side, it was like where everybody was putting the music out on MySpace and SoundCloud, and it was all about instant gratification. So I felt like I was somewhere in the middle, and I didn't know which way to go about it at the time.
Right.
And it actually affected me to realize that, well, maybe I don't have a passion for this after all. So the point that I'm getting at is that now you still in the game, you're still all about social media. I noticed that you do the Bars in the Car thing, and
Right.
how did that come about? Because I feel like everybody that's doing anything on social media, whether it's arts or whatever, you have to find your own thing, and it seems like Bars in the Car is like it belongs to you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my baby. Bars from the Car. I started that shit 5 years ago, man. And that kind of, signifies my run. I've been rapping forever, but when I finally decided to put 2 feet on the ground and really get running, it was Bars from the Car. So started that at the end of July. In 5 years, I did 200 episodes. I haven't really done too many episodes in the last 3 years. I had to, shift the attention from the social media to the music to, shift people into some actual music, into some songs, because I didn't want to be labeled or I just didn't want to be labeled and just known for freestyling.
Right. It's almost like if you go into a restaurant, you just don't want to serve appetizers. You want to give a full course meal.
Absolutely. But it's become something so much kind of like, I ain't gonna say bigger than me, but it's kind of like bigger than me to the point where I did it so much that I haven't done it in 3 years, and everybody still think I put it out all the time.
Wow.
Because I got so many episodes. I got 200 episodes.
Wow.
So it's like I can repost something, act like I got a haircut,
right.
repost something old, and it look like it sound brand new.
But that just goes to show your effort. I mean, that's no different than when like Tupac was doing like 150 songs in like a month or something.
Hell yeah, nah. Don't get it confused to the people. I know but like let them know I definitely didn't slow down. So the work ethic that I put into Bars from the Car, where I was dropping 2-3 freestyles a week for fucking 2.5 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
Once I stopped doing that, I put out 10 albums.
Right.
Over the last 3 years, I put out 10, 11 albums.
Mm-hmm.
So last year alone, I put out 5 albums in a year.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I definitely was working. I done a lot of shows. I done been on BET, Hot 97. We done headlined down South by Southwest.
Nice.
And, you know what I'm saying? I done been places. I done did some things. 105. Been places, did some things, man. So I stayed busy in the meantime, but through all of that, they want to know Bars from the Car. It's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah. Well, the question that I was going to initially ask, but I think in a way you kind of answered, is that out of everything that you've done so far in your career, is that your biggest accomplishment, or do you feel like there's something else that you could add to that?
Nah, my biggest accomplishment is still going. I haven't got my biggest accomplishment yet because I ain't.
Well, how about an accomplishment that you're proud of? Like
something that I'm proud of?
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. So I've been doing this podcast thing for a minute, and I would say that the proudest moment in doing this was when I was able to get Mr. Joe Benengo, who was a sports radio host for WFAN for 25 years. He does his own podcast. He's retired now from radio, but he does his own podcast. And I was actually able to have him on my show because he's considered a radio legend in the industry. And he was a guy that I was listening to for so long. And my father, God rest his soul, was a huge fan of his as well. So not only was I able to interview one of my heroes in the industry, but I also kind of looked at it as that even though my father isn't around here, I took solace to the fact that, you know, my father was looking from above and being proud of his son that he was able to accomplish something like that. So I'm guessing like more along the lines of something like that kind of trajectory in your career.
I had a lot of moments, man. Hot 97. Freestyling on Hot 97 was special. That BET shit was special.
Right. And these are the echelons that people aspire to ascend to, you know, when they're in your position, especially.
Yeah, freestyling on Hot 97 was special because I never forget Rockefeller and G Unit up there. And me and my boys went up there and went nutty.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So that just gave me that feeling and gave that vibe.
And that was my era too, you know. That was more or less about the like I grew up in the 90s, but like that was also what like really solidified. Like I just remember that time specifically with like G-Unit and Dipset, like you just mentioned. Like I was all in on Hot 97. I was all in on Power 105.1. Like like for me, I don't think I ever missed for like a couple years straight. I don't think I missed a single episode of K Slay.
R.I.P. K Slay.
R.I.P. K Slay. Every Thursday every Thursday, the drama hour, I was always tuned into that. No matter if I had to work early the next day, I didn't give a shit. Because I needed to hear those sirens. I needed to hear the real street shit. I needed to hear the gunshots in the background especially when Papoose was like really heating up in the streets at the time.
Word up.
Just thinking about that just makes me like, it takes me back to a simpler time. You know what I call it? I call it the MySpace days. Because I don't really necessarily miss the website. I just miss that whole era.
Yeah, that time frame. Just that early 2000s,
early mids 2000s, almost going into the lates.
It was a great time, man. It was a great time to be young.
Right, and you know, going back to the Bars in the Car thing, one of the things that I also like about it is a lot of the instrumentals that you play in the car and you're just freestyling to. Those are classic beats. All classics. Yeah, and not only
new classics.
Right. All classic, just classics in general. But what I appreciate more about is that not only are they classics, whether they're old or new, but you're very cohesive in them. Like you feel like you actually belong on these motherfucking beats.
These are features. They feature in me for the day.
Right. You know? So I can't help but think that, you know, if there was a different time frame, I mean, you definitely could have hung with Capone and Nori. You could have hung with Mobb Deep. You could have hung with Dipset.
Listen, man, that's the cloth I'm cut from. You know, I'm, you know, humbly speaking, I just was telling someone, I say, yo, I think it might be 50 or 60 rappers on a planet Earth that could do what I do. On a planet.
Right. And that's very small. That's a very small allowance, sample size compared to everybody else that's trying to do it.
On the planet, and that's including the people you watch on TV.
Right.
It's not maybe 50 or 60 tops. It's magic. Anytime people see me, and that's the thing, like I need to be people be like, you underrated. What's the issues? I just haven't been around. I haven't gotten into these rooms with the right people, bro. Like my shit is really, really special.
Right.
You see me perform.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Your performance alone was what basically got me to say, like, you know what, I gotta have this guy on my show, man, because it's just too fucking dope.
And it's especially different when you see it lined up with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of why I appreciate doing like showcases and open mics and shit, because I want you to see the other shit that's going on.
Right.
And then when I touch this mic, I want you to know I'm different.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna walk off this stage. And unfortunately, that swagger, that attitude, that cockiness, that I ain't gonna say mask, to protect myself when I'm outside, protect my ego, but that confidence, like, that may rub some people the wrong way. So I might not have as many people and fans run up to me like that, but they always hit me on the phone. They always find me and follow me.
Right.
Like, to get. Literally, I think when I started Boss from the Car, I had like 1,000 followers or some shit like that. I got 5,000 real people along the way, like real people. Like, I didn't buy a follower. I don't do the follow back.
It all just came authentic.
Like
authentic.
Word is born. Like it's just crazy. Like to really.
But bro, that's just a testament to your passion and your talent. You didn't have to go any route like that in order to, gain this momentum from the people that follow you and want to listen to you. I mean, you did it all on your own. So you got to give yourself flowers for that as well.
Hey, word, shout out to me and the people that that support, because you ain't really shit without the people that validate you, like we were talking about earlier. The people that support you, people that like what you're doing. So, shout out to the people that was able to spread the word, because I'm big on that. Every time I post a Boss from the Car, I ask you to spread the word, comment, share, DM your friends, share, spread the word, because the word of mouth is what's going to do it. Because in this pay for play game where you basically need a sponsor, if you're not playing that game on certain levels, that's it. That's your level of access.
In your inner circle, who would you say is the one that keeps you motivated the most?
My cousin Keith. Right now, for the most part, he don't let me quit with this shit, and he do it directly to me, and he do it by never quitting and never getting off his job. Like, for every lapse I've had, I've never seen him have one, whether he stayed active in some pocket. You know what I'm saying? I've done the same thing for the most part, but he make me want to keep up. He make me want to one him up. So I definitely thank him for that. And DB as well. Shout out to my boy DB. I see. Like, that boy don't never stop working. You always see him somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And if there's anything I know about him, when he go places, he go on a mission. He go there with a goal. He knock that motherfucker out, and then he have a blast. And I love that. He gave me that. So when I step outside, I go outside with a mission. Like, I came home, got right, ran straight out here. The mission when I left the house was to get a podcast, do it right. Now, if I go stumble upon a bar, have a drink, do some extra shit, it's just that's what's up. Yeah. But I came out and I handled that business first.
Right.
So
that's important.
Shout out the whole DB. Oh, excuse me. Shout out to DB for that. I just knew him too long. I call him Hov sometimes.
That's all good. That's all good.
Shout out to DB.
Yeah, shout out as well. Now, for anybody that is not exactly in your position yet, but they look at you and they see you doing your thing and so on and so forth, and they're the ones that you aspire to be, like they want to aspire to you, but they not necessarily know what the game is what's coming towards in the game, and they haven't necessarily got their feet wet and everything. What would you say is some of the trials and tribulations, and also advice that you would give to some of those people out there?
Advice is be prepared to exercise your mental health. So we just was talking about this is a very, very dirty game, a disgusting game with different people who wear different masks and very two-faced.
Stab you in the back, smile in your face type of thing.
It's a very dirty game. Anybody that knows anything, whether you in politics, it gets dirty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything has a dirty side to it, and for the most part, you're gonna come across a lot of vultures. You're gonna come across a lot of takers. You ain't gonna come across a lot of givers. So when you meet people that's here to help, maximize on them. Also, give back. Um, Other advice I would tell him is, just be careful. Don't be shy to do your own work. Don't be shy to take your own chances. And, just once you decide to start, you gotta decide not to quit. You gotta figure this motherfucker out. So that's what I'm doing. That's why 5.5, 6 years later of running, I'm still doing this shit because I'm
Right.
gonna figure this shit out. I'm gonna figure this shit out.
Yeah. In your opinion, why do you think that some people give up too easily, though?
I don't think nobody gives up easy because it's hard to do this shit. People that really take their own life because they can't live out their passion, whether it's music or acting or, being with their children, whatever it is that you so passionate about, when you can't have it come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'd rather die to do it than
Yeah.
to be here without it.
Sometimes it could even affect,
what
and I've experienced it. It could even be affected by love.
Yeah.
When you can't even get the validation
Bruh.
from somebody that you wish that was in your life, it could take a toll on you.
Yeah, everything, bro. But it's crazy, everything comes, full circle. Everything kind of meshes together. But if it's one thing I could say is when you stay in good spirits and good vibes and good energy with a get through it attitude, take that shit, take them slow shits like bumps and bruises.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the football drill.
Oh yeah,
You run through the joint, everybody hitting you with the pass.
Yes.
Light work.
It's no different than everyday life.
Finish getting the pass, I make my cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you were saying, Barry Sanders too.
Barry fucking Sanders, man. I might make a song called Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Oh man, I was actually thinking also like there's a song that I really like from you, but and you probably get this all the time, but it's named after a person, but it has like a really difficult name to
Earl
pronounce.
Manigault.
There you go. That's
easy.
I love that fucking song. It's just hard for me to pronounce every now and then.
Earl Manigault. R.I.P. Earl the Goat Manigault.
For those who don't know who that is, why don't you explain to my audience?
All right, Earl Manigault, man. He is widely known and kind of unanimously known as the best player to never make it into the NBA. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all of the older players in the 70s, they all refer to the GOAT. You always talk about people reaching and grabbing the money off the top of the backboard. He was the guy that started that shit. You know what I'm saying? So the theme of the song was me going ham in a temperature where music isn't classic, where it isn't the 90s, it isn't the early 2000s where rap isn't accepted. I'm rapping.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to hear it, turn it off. But on that particular song, the energy was, if you looking for bars, then I'm the man to know. If not, fuck it, I'm Earl Manigault. I'll be the best person, I'll be the best rapper to never make it if y'all don't want to hear this rap shit.
It's kind of like the greatest story never told.
There you go. If that's what it is, then that's who I'll be. But that's who I'm gonna be.
Yeah, and kudos to you for sticking to your guns on that, man. As opposed to just somebody that's always wanting to, like if they don't ascend to like a Michael Jordan or something like that, then they feel like they're automatically a failure.
Yeah, nah, hell no. It's a lot of players in that league that you gotta look at a bus. Think about it. A bus. You say he was a bus, right? But he had 15 minutes of fame, right?
Right.
You know how many years it take a work to get that 15 minutes of fame? Just an example. You talk about Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown probably cleared $50 million.
Probably.
He wasn't good as y'all wanted to be. 50 M's and took his family out the slums.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You name a professional athlete. Andrew Bennett, who was a horrible player.
Great example, yeah.
Horrible player.
Yeah.
That boy took care of his family. If he did it right, he got his $5-6 million from his contract and set up motherfucking generational wealth.
Right.
All I needed was that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make it the way y'all did. I did. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
you said, it's something to look.
Yeah.
It's about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and that's almost kind of in lockstep with how I am, like as far as like whether it's my podcast or whether it's in everyday life. Like I always felt like I had this underdog mentality
Yeah.
because I feel like that's gonna really give me the fire and the fuel to really do, not necessarily ascend, like to set the world on fire, but just necessary enough to do what I need to do for validation.
Yeah, for the passion that you have with anything that you have, you always aspire to go straight up.
Right.
So when you do that and you comparing yourself and looking up, you're always the underdog
Mm-hmm.
because you're looking at the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
You're looking at I Am Athlete the same way I'm looking at Jay-Z and Drake.
Mm.
Underdog. We're the underdog. We got to
Right.
fight to get to underdog status.
Yeah.
So
You're absolutely right.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we tooth and nail and clawing to get to this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But with every tooth, every nail, every claw, we getting closer.
Dropping gems on this motherfucking episode, man.
Sure.
Dropping gems, whether it's bars in the car or fucking first class, second place podcast. Dropping gems on this shit, man.
God willing.
Yeah, by the grace of God, absolutely. What other projects do you got coming out pretty soon? Any working on anything yet right now?
I'm working silently, man. It's been a while since I dropped music. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to get to my family. Shout out to my loved ones. Shout out to my household. Shout out to the the circle, the group of friends. I was able to tap in to get the family right. Take care of things on a personal level a little bit later because you got to live real life as an artist. You absolutely have to live your real life. You can't get caught up in this facade and turn around and have nothing.
Right.
So made sure I had to tap back in and put some energy into the things that really
matter.
me.
Yeah.
So took care of that. Live some life. Gotta live life too. I live a real life with that music. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to get out, do some things, see some places, stamp that passport a little bit.
Nice.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
important.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. What I'm gonna rap about? I'm gonna tell you about a vacation I ain't been on. I'm gonna tell you about a woman I ain't see.
Right. You gotta manifest
car I ain't drive.
You gotta manifest it into your music. You know?
We can manifest it, but I also don't want to lie to you. I gotta go
exactly.
do some,
No, without a
some
doubt.
things
Yeah.
too. I mean, we manifest it, it. But when we talking that talk, I gotta be able to talk it, man.
There you go. Back it up.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta definitely back it up for sure. All right, man. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to some new music, man, pretty soon. Because, like I said, I've been a fan for a while now. I've been enjoying all your stuff. I want to continue to support, and I urge everybody that's watching and listening to right now to support this guy right here.
Word, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man. Thank you.
You're very welcome, man.
Tune in to everything. I just got my socials back. I was suspended off Instagram for about 6 months.
That's right. I remember.
So I just got my socials back. P.mmr. Shout out to everybody that was on Everything Grease and rocked out with me through a tough time. Y'all started showing up in turbulent numbers as soon as the page came back. So I thank y'all. I think I'm gonna close that page and make it private and turn that shit into like an OnlyFans for y'all. make it special. You know what I'm saying? Because it show you who really with you. Like when you build something like that and you start over,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, damn, who was really fucking with me the whole time? Because you got some people that expect you to make it when they hear you so good, or they think so much of you that they expect for it to happen so fast, and then when it don't, it's like they forget. So it's like it just who's still rocking with me 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of shows, I've done a lot of things, and the faces stay the same, but most of the faces change.
Yeah.
So, just seeing who really still here. So, shout out to the people that's here forever. Shout out to the people who was here, took a break. I need you to come back. Shout out to the people, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to everybody, because it's like, they don't really, I don't think they forget about you. I think it's just, it's just not the same. You got to bring that energy back out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and they'll come back around.
There you go.
There you go. They'll come back around. I appreciate it.
When I come back around this time, I think it's gonna be special. I might have a big old party. You know what I'm saying?
Looking forward to that one. Definitely looking forward to that one. Yeah. All right, man. So we're about to close out this episode a little bit. Before we go, I just have one more question that I want to ask you that I ask everybody that comes on the show, just to end it on a positive note, have some fun with it, and it's not an SAT question or anything. It's just something that I just enjoy doing, and I've actually learned that my audience happens to like this, and they want to know where you're coming from as well.
Okay.
So with that being said, you P. Dot, if they were to make a movie on your life, which actor would you like to see portray your character and why?
What actor? Well, yo, you and these fucking questions, that's two goodies.
Yeah, and they don't have to look like you. They don't have to sound like you. It's
They
just
don't
somebody.
have to look like me.
Yeah, they're just somebody that you admire and you feel like they could portray your character to the best of their ability.
To the best of their ability to portray me?
Yeah.
Good God. Alright, it would have to be Bobby Brown, my young Bobby Brown homie.
Young Bobby Brown?
Yeah, what's the, you know what I'm saying? Well, Kane off of Power.
Oh,
It would
okay.
be
Yeah.
Kane
Yeah. Oh.
or Joey Badass. That
Wow.
Joey
Okay.
Badass is walking in that role.
Damn.
Boy.
What
He
was?
give me that feel.
What was that short film that he was in that was on net? Like
Oh,
they won the.
he won a fucking Oscar
Yes.
for.
Yes.
It was incredible.
Great movie,
Oh my God.
and it was so relevant
It
to
was
everything
so
that's going on right
good.
now.
It was so good. I forgot the fucking boy was a rapper.
Yeah.
That's how good it was.
Mhm.
Like incredible. But
Yeah.
Joey Badass or what's the guy? I can't think of his real name. That's horrible. We got to start treating these actors like they actors instead of the role that they playing. But Kane from Power.
Okay, I got it.
You know what
I
I'm
know
saying?
exactly who he is. I can't think of his name now, but I
Yeah.
know exactly who you're thinking about.
Word up, he was Bobby Brown.
Right. Yeah.
But
For a
those
second,
two
for a
guys.
second, that I was thinking like New Edition. What?
Yeah, nah. One of them two guys, man.
Got you. All right. Well, let's see
Man.
let's see if it can happen in the future one day, man.
Word up, man.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a good question, man. That's good journalism right there.
Thank you,
This
man.
ain't really writing down, but it's technically journalism.
Right, I appreciate that,
know
man,
what I'm
because I take pride in my research and my questions and so on and so
Word.
forth. So when somebody is really receptive to it, then that makes it all the worthwhile, in my
Absolutely,
opinion, man. All right, well, that is going to do it for this episode of First Class, Second Place. I want to thank my guest, Peter, for coming through once again. You want to give any shout-outs to anybody before we close?
Oh, man, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. Shout out to anybody that appreciated my presence, allowing me the platform. I know y'all came here to see my boy Jason, but he allowed me here today. So thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate anybody that's tuned into the music. Search me up in between time. Anybody that's gonna do it in the future, P.MMR on all social media, all platforms. Capital P period DOT on all streaming platforms. If you're looking for any of the music, just tune in to me. Tune in to anything I got doing. I got the bars from the car. We bringing those back. I'm on the road to 250, and then we gonna put it to bed. It's over.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
I
going
don't
to be a
wanna-
movie, man.
I don't want to rap. I don't want to rap in that car no more. Plus, I want to hurry up and go get my Benz. I'm tired of driving it. I went and got a truck. I'm tired of driving that car. But
Man.
I keep it for the rap.
One of these days, I feel like I'm gonna see you doing bars from the G plane or something like that.
Nah, man, we gotta do something major. I did some shit with the bars from the car at a dealership in Massachusetts, in
Okay.
Boston.
Okay.
It was fucking huge, bro. Pause. They had a fucking a wall full of fucking I got the pictures and shit, but I did a dope ass freestyle in there. Politics and shit like that is why things ain't come to fruition. But
Right.
I definitely moved around. But yeah, bars from the car. We doing the road to 250. I got a multitude of albums on Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, fucking Xbox Music. If you want to listen to me while you on your gamer tag, bro, I'm on every single thing, all platforms. Shout out to my cousin Keith, shout out to Tron Living, shout out to DV, shout out to Double Lamar. If you don't know nothing, just know them bars from the car. Shout out to First Place.
First class, second
First
place.
class, second place.
It's all good.
That's a tongue twister like a motherfucker. I just want you to
bro,
know
let me
that.
tell you, you're not the first person to mess it up, and you're certainly not going to be the last,
Nah,
man.
say it
It's
one more
funny.
time.
First class, second place.
First class, second place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all for having me.
Appreciate it,
And
man.
first class, second place. Yeah, I ain't gonna fuck it up no more.
I appreciate that.
I bet you I'll be the only one that don't fuck it up twice.
I appreciate it nonetheless, man. And thank
Absolutely,
you so much, man.
Shout out to you for having me, man. Appreciate you, yo. Shout out to all the work you're doing.
Thank you,
You're gonna
man.
do. You know what I mean? We on the way up. I think we'll all meet at the top. So
Absolutely, man.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Thank
can't
you
wait for
having
it.
me.
And we should do this again, man, especially when we got some new projects
Yeah,
coming up.
man. When I got
sure.
something new to talk about, I hate doing the show over and over. You feel like you kind
Right,
of milking the podcast, milking the audience, milking the people. So, once I go get some new accomplishments, some new things, when we come back, you're going to be like, yo, from the last time you seen me, we'll have, a conversation that we don't got to dip into the past.
Yeah.
No
Exactly.
repetitive shit.
I appreciate that,
Keep
man.
going up.
Thank you, man. And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at Jason Enrique on Instagram, Twitter, and also TikTok now, and also available on YouTube, streaming right now. And don't forget to follow the First Class Second Place podcast page on Instagram as well. This has been the First Class Second Place podcast. We out.